temperance lectures, the war on drugs. Just say no. Even with the best of intentions, these measures, far from proving to be deterrents, more often than not can drive people to use and ultimately to abuse drugs. Such is not the intention of this editorial. It is my aim merely to share with you an experience which I endured a few years ago. Out at the stab lab, there was a technician, a young man, big, friendly, jovial, very outgoing, very aggressively assertive in his personality. He was a great favorite with the staff and with the patrons of the center alike. He was a genuinely nice guy. One day he happened to be the technician who was processing me, and he seemed especially animated in his mannerisms that day. And I looked up and noticed that his pupils were severely dilated, and it occurred to me that he was behaving like someone who was, as it were, under the influence of something. I didn't remark upon that and went about my session, and that more or less seemed to be the end of that. When I came back later in the week for my next session, that particular technician was not there. When I came back the following week, he still wasn't there. And later in that week, he was yet again absent. It occurred to me that he had probably moved on to some other position. You see, in plasmapheresis, the turnover is immense. Generally, those centers are stepping stones for young people who are on their way to more higher paying, more fulfilling professions, careers. And for him, it was likewise perhaps a point toward moving onward and upward to better things. And then, later that second week, I did see him again. And the irony is that I saw him only a couple of blocks away from the center which had employed him. He was standing on a street corner, and the tableau was complete with the shopping cart containing all of the possessions which he could carry, and he was flying a sign begging for spare change from the motorists who were passing by that intersection. It's not difficult to surmise what happened, most likely. Most of you are living paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. You're just barely making ends meet. And this could be in lieu of sobriety. When you add into your domestic regimen all of the chance, all of the risk, all of the dangerous factors of drug use and abuse, you impose upon yourself a scenario in which you are always, constantly, 1 centigrade away from losing your residence, losing your house, losing your job, losing your life, losing everything. Think about it. Being late for the rent just that one time. That one no-call, no-show, just once. You're always 1 centigrade away from disaster. And like that kid, destitution. Now, the thing of it is, the irony is, it's all a choice. A choice. And it remains your choice all the way up until the point at which it no longer is a choice. And the addiction takes over, and from that point forward, makes all the choices for you. It decides the future that you will have. It likewise decides the future which you will not have. And ultimately it decides that you will have no future whatsoever. The principal character in that movie you all adore so very much, Trainspotting, he had a very simple summation. Choose your future. And he was saying this in the face of addiction. And when faced between the question of your future versus that which addiction will promise you, guarantee you, well, what choice do you really have? It's a hell of a deal